To the Finucane Jesuit Center. I'm Bill Kriege. I'm a campus minister here at Rockhurst. I'm the faculty staff advisor for Voices for Justice. It's a student organization here on campus. This is their traditional Thursday night meeting. Voices for Justice is pairing up with Seek, which is our interfaith organization on campus, to bring this event. We're really grateful, Ira, for reaching out to us and for bringing a host of knowledge here. So I'm not going to speak anymore. I'm going to turn it over to Ira and take it away. But again, thank you so much to you and for all of you for being here.
Okay, well, thank you, Bill, and thanks to Voices and to Seek for inviting us to come here on campus. My name is Ira Harrod. I'm the program coordinator for the American Friends Service Committee, which is a Quaker-based peace and social justice organization. So we kind of reached out to the council and to Bill because we're concerned. And I think you all are here because you have some concerns about what's happening in Syria and the Middle East, how that's impacting families that are fleeing violence, and how the reaction that has greeted them has not been very compassionate at times. And so the American Friends Service Committee wants to help our community take a deeper look about what are the real fears that exist, what are the real causes of the refugee crisis, and what are the best ways that we can respond. Before I go any further, I do first want to acknowledge that this event is co-sponsored by the Greater Kansas City Interfaith Council. And the council's purpose, for those that don't know, is to grow a sustainable, pervasive culture of knowledge, respect, appreciation, and trust among all faiths and religious traditions in the Greater Kansas City community. And so there's several members of the council here, in addition to several of our speakers. But Sheila, would you like to just say hello?
Okay.
And then we also have Geneva Blackmere, who's back there, who's an intern working with the council this year. And then I'm wearing two hats. So I'm program coordinator for the American Friends Service Committee, but I'm also the Sufi faith director on the council. So I am pleased to be able to help organize this event to further our interfaith interests and goals, but also for the goals that the American Friends Service Committee has. And before we just move right into a hearing from our faith leaders, I want to share something that I learned from a talk by Lieutenant Colonel Brian Steed, who is a military history instructor at the U.S. Army Command and General Staff College in Leavenworth. He's given a number of programs in the community, but one of the key things that he has brought up in those programs is that the conflict with Daesh or ISIS, or the so-called self-proclaimed Islamic State, is a battle that will not be won primarily by military means, but rather that it will be won by control of the narrative. Okay, the narrative that will win the hearts and minds of the people in the Middle East, in Syria, in Iraq, and maybe also the world. And so with that in mind, I raise this question for you to think about as we hear our speakers, and that is, are our actions consistent with deep faith values? If we make our actions more consistent with these values, will we be more likely to win that battle over the narrative? Okay? So, with that, let's see, I think maybe what we'll do is I will introduce each of all the speakers right now, and then one by one they'll come up. So from my right is Dr. Anton Jacob. He is retired UCC United Church of Christ, thank you, sorry. Clergyman. He received his Master of Divinity from Eden Theological Seminary and a PhD from the University of Notre Dame. He's the author of Religion and the Critical Mind, and is the Christian Protestant Faith Director of the Greater Kansas City Interfaith Council. Next to him is Zora Husani, who was born and raised in Kansas City, but her family immigrated here from Afghanistan in the early 80s. She works as a nurse practitioner at KU and is in the EMBA program here at Rockhurst, and is a devout Muslim. And next in line is Baswati Ray, who is a software engineer, but her real passion is to serve humanity. She does this through her work with the United Nations Association, the Greater Kansas City chapter, and actually just returned from a women's conference at the UN in New York City. Women Intercultural Network, the Kansas City Bengali Association, and is the is one of the Greater Kansas City Council at Large directors, and she's of the Hindu faith. And then finally, Alan Edelman is Associate Executive Director of the Jewish Federation of Greater Kansas City. He has a master's degree in Jewish education from the Jewish Theological Seminary and is the Jewish Faith Director of the Greater Kansas City Interfaith Council.